Hey guys, Rabbit here, and welcome back to another Starcraft Broodwar Remastered cast. Today is a tournament game between the blue Terran Manadog and the red Protoss Suricata. This is the final game in their set, so we're casting live on Twitch at the moment. The games in their set will be uploaded as individual videos on my YouTube channel. They've been playing an epic best of 3. We've really been enjoying it. Suricata is in the chat for the game, which is really nice. I think it adds a nice dynamic. We have a chance to ask him a few questions or understand or get some insights and comments. And it's been a really enjoyable set so far. So I expect no less than another Titanic game between these two very nicely, evenly matched players. So this game comes from the NWL, which is a tournament from the Foreign Brood War Discord scene. I cast all sorts of tournament and ladder action twice a week on my YouTube channel. I'm also live on Twitch once a week, so follow the links below to any of those if you want to join in and be a part of the Brood War community. And if you enjoy the YouTube cast, then by all means, please do subscribe to the channel. So I don't want to spoil the first 2 games, but what we have tended to see is very enjoyable macro games where both players are really climbing into their builds, getting up to multiple bases, getting into the late game, and the game's coming down to fine margins of decision making towards the end. So it's been really enjoyable so far, and I expect another action-packed game here on Neo Sylphid, a game that always lends itself to some interesting and big fights that usually happen in the middle of the map, and this match in particular tends to hover or hinder on who can get the other main base. I think the player that gets the other main base tends to have the edge, and I also have a view that this map becomes more Protoss favored the longer the game goes on, and we are also going to see if drops are utilized, because of the layout of Sylphid tends to lend itself to that type of play as well. So anyway, that long-winded introduction aside, let's get into the action for this deciding game today. Okay, so very standard opening so far from our Protoss player. Scouted his opponent already, found that it's just a standard factory opening from Manadog, so he's likely to do a factory expand. And it looks like a 1 gateway range expand in all likelihood coming out from our Protoss player. Already got his probe in position. He may do the expansion actually before range, which is a deviation to the Protoss build that I've seen. It's a little bit more optimal. So let's see if he's doing that. He hasn't started his range yet. He has built a Dragoon. So it's the 1 goon, no range expand. It's usually on 20 supply, 20-21 supply. Let's see if he gets it. Let's see if the probe blocks, the SCV blocks. No. Okay, so it's up. So it is a Nexus before range opening, which is quite optimal from an economic point of view. If you've scouted that Terran's going 1 fac, then you're actually fine from an economic point of view. The only response from Terran is to then just drop down their command center immediately as well. So our goon is out. He is rangeless, but he is chasing the SCV, and now the SCV is gone. We should be, based on our gas count, starting range pretty soon. We don't want to lose the benefit of the early Nexus by not optimizing and spending our gas. Okay, so second pylon on the way. We need to start spending our gas pretty soon. Okay, so then we start our range, and I expect we'll see a robo pretty soon after that. Okay, so it's a back-to-back. Oh, he cancelled range. He went robo first. So that is indicative of potentially an early Reaver play if you go robo before range. So let's see if that happens. I don't want to say I've seen that before, but I've seen that before. So let's see if it happens again. I think Sylphid is a great map for drops anyway. So let's see how we go. So no player pressuring the other in the early game. No bunker harassment. starting mines, because he doesn't feel like he needs siege mode at this stage. Very beneficial for Terran to be able to move out with their vultures in the early game. They'll start to drop mines in all of the potential expansion locations, just to get some vision on the map and to understand the Protoss' expansion pattern and to identify the Protoss' expansion timings. Okay, so 2-gate observer. We don't have a support base, so the early robo was really just for the sake of getting really quick observers out. There's a citadel, a very early citadel, so this is an interesting variation on the build. Could just mean a very fast arbiter. I've seen this build where it's prescribed that you get your second gas and your citadel, then you get your third nexus, and then you get your Stargate and your Templar archives. You can do that on 2 or 3 gates. Looks like he's doing it on 3. So I dare say that Suri is doing the light fast arbiter build on the map that Light did the tutorial on how to do the light fast arbiter build, in the exact placement as well, where he was here and Terran was here. So that's quite exciting. If anybody ever wants to compare how well he did it, you literally have everything you need to be able to do so. So yeah, I think it's going to be a fast arbiter build. Arbiters are very good, recalls are very good. So I think arbiters is what we're going to do on this map. A lot of weird chilling workers here, man. Protoss has got the laziest workers I've ever seen. They have to actually be told to work. Not like the loyal Terran soul. Oh wait, no, there's a few lazies here. Must just be the tropical air on near Sylphid, messing people's brains up. Alright, so his timing on his third is good. He's got his second gas going. He's got his pylons. He's on 3 gateways. He is delaying legs because that's not the build. Now it's all about gas. So here should drop a Templar Archives and a Stargate back to back. Yeah, and so you will see the Tribunal drop as soon as those 2 buildings finish. And then from there you should expect a explosion of gateways, and we will see an Arbiter gateway based style. The only thing that I think isn't in the guide is the rangeless expansion and the gateway before range, but otherwise the fundamentals of the build from the light fast arbiter are exactly what we're seeing here today. It's also got a reference to upgrades, so you need to be, I think, at 2-1 at the time that you attack. I'm not 100% sure. I think Suri is in the chat, so maybe you can confirm the upgrade theory by the time you do push out, because I think you're supposed to push out at about 12.5 minutes if you're doing the 3 based version. There's also another version, I think, where you go into 4 or 5 bases and you don't attack, you just try and do a recall. Let's not preempt too much though, it'll be exciting to see what happens here. Meanwhile, Terran is just beautifully bombing ahead with his build. I expect he will start to move forward quite soon. One of the reasons why this map sucks for Terran is that this is a nice spot to take a 3rd base, but you don't have a full mineral set, you don't have a full geyser, so that is a little bit annoying. The other bases which have got full minerals, like this one, are actually quite far away, although there's one here which is just slightly out of vision that probably a good option for Terran to try and establish, although it's relatively close to the Protoss. So Manadog's just doing his thing, laying his mines as he's done all along, and we'll see how and when he wants to start moving forward to potentially take a 3rd base. Although its factory count of 5 does maybe indicate a 2 base push as opposed to 3 base expansion type style. So I'll be interested to see what happens there. Okay, so he's found this base. He's pulled away quite quickly with his vultures, which is good. These workers are still not doing anything. Oh man, I think when you watch your replays as a player, you're like, how did I miss that? We've all been there. Okay, so this is textbook. 10 gates. So 10.5 minutes, no fourth. Tends to, okay, as I say, no fourth, establishes the fourth. Okay, so you're going for the 4-gate version. What's interesting is what Terran is going to do. Okay, so Terran are taking a third up here at the mineral only. I think if you position yourself here with your tank line, it's very, very difficult for Protoss to get to you, as long as you've got some mines and some voltage and stuff, so you should be relatively safe from that. The Arbiter is out, he's charging up his energy. The first upgrade I'm sure you're getting is Stasis, if you haven't already got it. I'm sure you have your legs, you're getting your Storm. You're a fan of High Templars, which I think are a good unit for especially mineral line drops, especially on this map. The terrain for that, but all these sort of high ground areas you can come in at and drop in behind are quite difficult to defend. It also makes recalls a very good opportunity for Protoss players. Hey Manadog, welcome buddy. Yeah, I mean, I must say I was a little bit confused that you had 5 factories before your third, because from games of yours that I've watched before, you tend to drop the third command center and then you go from 2 to 5 factories. Okay, so we're moving around, we're going up. I think this is an attempt to try and harass the space. Some zealots. And here they come. Vultures would be a pretty good response to this, and here they come. And I don't think that these zealots are going to achieve much. 65, 65, 12, 65, 64, 63, 62. Yeah, I think he got 4 SCVs in exchange for 12 zealots. Not a good trade. So are we... Okay, so we're going a 1 Stargate approach to this Arbiter build. I think if you want to have a whole stack, I'm not sure if it's correct to go 2. Of course, gas is always your most limiting factor in that regard. Okay, so this, I think he's fortified this quite nicely. Very difficult for him to get in either position. A few more mines here, maybe a mine up here, just to have some vision on your expansion that you want to take. And then of course, I think if you're Terran, you need to have a mine here and here, because the next logical place for Protoss to expand is into that other main. If they get that other main, very, very difficult for you as Terran to win, especially if it goes into late game. Just bottomless income to reinforce with. Okay, so a lot of the sounds of cloaking units moving up and down the map. I think the one advantage for Protoss is that there's a lot of wide open spaces to take a fight. And if you want to engage with Terran, it would be in this area here. But I'm sort of in 2 minds. Is he planning to attack here? Or is he planning to position himself here and try and then expand behind it? Time will tell. Archons? I have questions. Did he get them all again? No. The EMP missed! Oh man, that is so tilting. I saw you in a previous game hit all 3 arbiters with 1 EMP and get all of the energy, and here you got none. That's super inconsistent. Okay, so that was a pretty neutral sort of fight. Poked in, saw that he couldn't get too much done, ran away. I think Terran's smelling a little bit of blood here, is moving forward to see what damage he can get done. I think it's a good call. I think he's going to wipe this whole army. The vessels are giving him all the vision he needs, meaning the cloak is no cloak. Oh, some blue goo. Running away is a good call. Run, run, run as fast as you can. Okay, so he did get a stasis on 2, and that's about it. Okay, so the probe is in position. Another probe in position. So gearing up to take these critical bases. There's Terran, I think, moving into a more central position in the map to control all the passages and to block off the road between these two bases will be masterful if you can get it right. Okay, so there he's done it. He's pulled the trigger, he's taken that base. How long before Manadog sends some SCVs there? Harass, he's got a huge bank. This is really a lot of minerals. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Observer parked here watching the production all the time. I don't know what the optimal number of factories is on a certain base count. I think it's something like 9. But it is always a challenge to spend your money. So we're double expanding here. And Suri's found an angle because of where Manadog's positioned himself to actually harass the main. This is a drive-by or a backstab. I've heard various terms used for this. But this is very good. And then of course he's got some Templars on the high ground. Storm the retreating Terran units. Oh, that is good damage. If he has another storm here, these ones are pretty low. They're clumped. Storm! Oh, it just got maybe a little bit of a whiff. That would have been beautiful. But it doesn't matter. He's still moving forward here, doing really good damage on this natural. He needs to get this command center. But there's not any minerals here anymore. So it's not as valuable of a target as perhaps a fully mining saturated base, but he's definitely reduced his SCV count. He's got some decent value engaging with these tanks in tank mode. He's frozen those. Supplies are now even, but he's taken out 20 SCVs from that. I think Manadog was at 68 before that engagement started. So a very, very valuable and very sneaky. Kind of came in from here. And all of Manadog's stuff was here. It was a small passage. But such is Starcraft. It's a game of narrow margins. Meanwhile, Manadog's, alright, well, you've got the space. I think I would like to kill it. And these zealots are like, yes, you can try. But you haven't scanned us, so we're invisible. Now you've scanned us, but we're on top of you. You're going to die. It's another titanic battle between two really well-matched players. And just for the Terran supporters, I think we're all screaming at Manadog saying, go, put your tanks here, kill this, don't worry about this one. He hasn't saturated it yet, and so that means that he's not really deriving too much benefit from having it, but that could change very soon. Is this barracks above the tanks to make it difficult for stasis and stuff like that? You to pick an exact target? Ow. That was a lot of dead. Suri is in a lot of trouble here. Manadog really has got some options. To go up and wipe out these bases would be a piece of cake. This one is defended by cannons. This one, there's ones that are not on the high ground, or even easier because you don't have any terrain issues, you don't have any spotting challenges. So they really are, in terms of the ones to go. I think in terms of units on the field, we've got a control group of goons and 4 zealots, and that's it. Okay, so Manadog is re-establishing or doing a transfer to this base, taking another nexus here. Okay, so the SCV's discovered it. If that is the first time he saw it, I don't know. Question is, what does he do? Okay, he's responding immediately. Looks like he's sending a party of tanks to come and wipe this out. This is going to be a critical moment in this game. Oh, slightly too far forward, but it's not going to matter for long. Alright, so here's the pressure. And then he's beautifully laid mines on the road between Protos's rally and the space, slowing down his progress, sending vultures to cut off the zealots that would naturally be the fastest units, and he's leaving the tanks in siege mode, in tank mode, sorry, if it is zealots that get there first. The only problem is he doesn't have a vessel, which means he needs to scan. Oh. Okay, so that was cleaned up quite convincingly. Okay, but he's sending in some more. I think Manadog has been struggling with gas. And I don't mean he's farting a lot, I mean he doesn't have gas to build vessels. And vessels are really important against this arbiter ground composition for EMP and for just detection, because it is exhausting to constantly scan to try and take fights. And I think he's losing here because I heard a scan there, so I think you can see his army now and again. But it is exhausting to keep on top of your scans all the time. It really is. Taxes the APM, trying to do other things behind this. Another epic fight. Good thumbnail candidate, that one. Always got to be on the lookout for thumbnails. Okay, so this is going to be tidied up. Cannons have been replaced. This base is not saturated. This one is semi-saturated. This one is semi-saturated. This is very saturated. I think probably 60 workers is enough. I just don't know if he's distributed them optimally. Okay, so we're moving forward. Our floating barracks is going to become a dead barracks. This walling in is good. I think the one thing that I will say is perhaps Manadog's worker count is a bit low, but that being said, he's had a bank of close to 5,000 minerals for a fair chunk of this game, so maybe that wouldn't be an issue. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 factories should maybe be 9 factories. Build them over here. I mean, when you fall behind on your macro, just mass up production as much as you can. You could build a few over here as well. More units on the field is way better than gas in the bank. Okay, so our Protoss is maxed out. He has his friends, Arnold the Arbiter, escorting all his units. He's got a few storms. He's got a few observers. No matter what happens with Protoss though, no matter how tightly you try and micro unit, some stupid unit is always going to trip and die to a mine. Super tilting. Exactly. Hey Fridge, how are you, bud? Nice to see you. So this is nicely blocked off. This is where zealots go to die one at a time. Although, enough of them. I think he's going to break through here. Oh dear. Oh dear. This is going to be damage. Where is... Oh man. As a Terran player, it must be so frustrating how slow your units are. So these units would be the only ones that can support, and they're about to take a huge engagement. Although it's mainly Dragoons, so I fear for their safety. A lot of blue goo, but a lot of dead SCVs. He's literally killed... He had 50. before this move. He's now got 24. That is real. That is critical damage. The only thing he has going for him is that he has a bank, so he can rebuild and put a lot of vultures on the field. But this hurts. This base is running, this base is running, this base is running. I think Protoss has got too much macro. Not enough tanks because he can't get the gas to build them. Oh, he didn't build cannons here, so this drive-by is going to get some damage. That's nicely done. Started on 58, 55, 53, 51, 50. Okay, so only 8 probes there. Because there were only 8 probes to kill. That was a little bit unlucky, I think, from a Terran point of view. Okay, so the very standard Suri, my army doesn't go anywhere if they're not escorted by 3 to 4 arbiters, is moving out again. Oh, kills the observer. Doesn't have any observers with him now. They're invisible, but they can't see the mines. Such is life. Oh, okay, so he's positioned his tanks here to take this, which is beautiful. This time? No, just cloaking. I've watched this. All this set has had 3 long-ish games in it, and not once has Protoss used a recall. It's just been for cloaking and for stasis. Laying mines here, blocking him from getting to this. Nicely done. Got this going again. This is mined out. This might be a nice spot. All this, he's about to take this base, which is good. Getting in to take these. This is really good harassment from Manadog. He's clawing his way back into this game, reducing the worker count down by about 15, 16 probes, depending on how many he's rebuilt. But he's had to saturate this from scratch. This he has to saturate from scratch. Yeah, he's getting some cannons in place, so he's worrying about his basic economics as opposed to worrying about moving out and killing him, which is giving Manadog some time to re-macro. But I'm still just concerned that he doesn't have the income. Here he goes again, more vultures, more harassment, more dead probes. Now he's below 40. Okay, so he's exactly on 40. It is sustained economic pressure and a great way to show how valuable the vulture unit is in fighting your way back. These are probes, but they're not working. The only places where there's work for probes are freaking war zones full of mines and angry vultures. Okay, he's taking this base, which is great. This one he just needs to resaturate. I think he needs to build a few SCVs. Fortunately, he's spread too thin, so he sends some zealots here. All of the vultures are here or now moving around here. Try and clean this up. So he's left off, and I think he's retreated. I think he lost 4 SCVs there. So unfortunately, 4 when you have 26 is much more damaging than 4 when you have 60 or 50. Nice micro here. I'm going to tidy these up without losing anything. Oh, just following to show how angry he is. I like that. Alright, so he's still 176 versus 100. Suri doesn't have much cash because he's got the bases, but he's got nobody working. Manadog's got a little bit of cash, but he's got no workers, and the workers he does have are currently not employed. And the challenge that he has is having units everywhere to defend all of his mining bases. And that is what has been constantly exploited by Suri in this game. Another epic battle between these two players. Hit that like button if you're enjoying it. Oh, hit the MP and then got stasis for his trouble. I don't know if a stasis of 1 vessel is worth it as opposed to this very clumped up hunk of units over here. I don't think it's going to matter much. I think Suri just got too much. Bit of a wasteful one, unfortunately. He's got the one lonely vessel. It's probably just going to be left there. Alright, good, see you later. The fleet beacon? Where's the carriers? Ah, carriers require gas. I don't really have any. So moving in on another mining base. I think this is the only mining base that he has that's currently not being harassed. And this one, but it's got one SCV at it. It's going to go here and shut this down. So I think Protos's map awareness in this game has been pretty solid. Understanding where the newest sources of Terran income are and being sure to deny them. So I expect when this command center falls, Manadog will move the last of his units here to make a final stand, and then that will probably be the end of the game. Still done really well with his vulture harassment, has been constantly picking off probes. Unfortunately, he just has had too many bases. Quiet phase in the game. It's the calm before the death stroke, I think. Will he go here? Seems the place to go. It's not positioning for a recall, he doesn't have the energy. Another observer. Alright, he's moving in, and I'm expecting he's going to go towards the last mining base. Okay, let's gather all his units together. Of course, being Suri, you can't have less than 3 arbiters at a time. And in he goes, up the ramp. Nothing bothering you, off you go. I think this will be GG. Really an epic series between these two players. If you enjoyed this game, be sure to watch the other two that are on the YouTube channel by the time this one gets posted. If you're watching here with me live on Twitch, don't worry, we're not going anywhere, we'll carry on. But this will be the conclusion of this game and this epic set. Well done to both players, Suri and Manadog. Really enjoyed casting your set. GG to both of you. If you enjoyed the game, do leave a like and subscribe on the channel. And until next time, we're just going to wait for the GG, and then I will sign off. Oh! 1 mine, 2 dragoons. Happy days. Six SCVs left. They're the powerful 6. That's fighting to the bitter end. Got a few units though. I think he just wants to take one more big fight. Doesn't have enough to take the tier. He's gonna have to pull from somewhere else. Ah, where's his units? Ah, he must have done a recall. So I was put in my place by saying nobody did a recall. He did one here. Anyway, epic set. GG to both players. I'm Rapid Roo. I'll see you soon.